What's going on, guys? Bizanix here, bringing you another video in the series Noob to Pro-ish. Today we're going to be talking about turtling and the various uses of it. And this is something that has rapidly increased with the introduction of the jetpack. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So, turtling. You may not understand the terminology that I'm using, you may not have heard this terminology, but if you've played this game before, I'm sure that you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about spam building in a 1x1 to protect yourself from somebody that has obtained the high ground. Now, before we go any further, I just want to say that I am not advocating using turtling all the time in every single fight. You should always be trying to take high ground and use high ground to effectively put yourself in a position where you're going to win the fight. Now, the only reason why you use turtling is for basically one reason. If you lose high ground and you know that you do not have enough resources to retake high ground. In this video, you're going to see two clips of me using turtling effectively to win a fight. Now, the basic reason you're using turtling to win is because you know you can't take high ground, and because of that, you turtle. You're prolonging the fight and making the other player nervous. Now, two things can happen. Number one, the other player makes a mistake because circle's coming and they think that they're in a bad position by standing on the very, high up platform trying to shoot you in the head in your small little 1x1. So you're prolonging the fight, making them nervous, which therefore could cause them to make a mistake. The other reason is just the reason I just explained. They're high up on this nice little 1x1 looking down on you. Sometimes they're not smart enough to, make cover for themselves. They might get sniped, or an approaching player might come in and help you get out of this very sticky situation that you're in when you're in a 1x1. Now, the main objective when turtling is making a small 1x1 with a pyramid roof. Now, the pyramid roof is really important because when somebody is spraying you with an AR, usually if the pyramid and the wall above you is built, they're not going to spray through and hit you effectively, because they're going to have to shoot through both walls to hit you, and so that's really difficult to do. Another thing is, you almost always, or I definitely suggest having turbo build on, because it's almost impossible to get shot if you're just holding down left click to spam build. Now, you'll notice in this clip, I'm not standing still when I'm spam building. I'm frequently moving around, changing my 1x1. I'm baiting him to shoot me, because right now he's hiding and I don't have a shot on him. He's waiting for me to expose myself, whereas what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to let him expose me. The longer the fight goes on, the longer he feels like he has to take steps to finish the fight because he has the high ground. And so, effectively, I'm baiting him to shoot me. Now, you're going to see that I do end up winning this fight, and it's simply because I played very patiently. I made calculated risks and calculated shots in order to bring him inevitably down to me so that I can win the fight, and so that I can effectively turtle long enough that he comes down to me and gives me the opportunity to one-shot him. And that's really just how I win the fight. I'm able to one-shot him, because as you can see with my resources, I really don't have too many. I definitely didn't have enough to go back up there and try to take high ground. I definitely didn't have any other options. This guy even had a jetpack. You're not going to be able to take back high ground with the skilled player that has a jetpack. Because this guy was dancing on top of me, I felt like it was the proper time to come and attack him. Thankfully, he missed his shot. I could have died there very easily, but he was, he was being very cocky by dancing, and because of that, I took advantage of it. So that is one way you can effectively turtle. In the next clip, you're going to see when turtling is used early game, when you don't necessarily have an optimal loadout and you don't necessarily have a ton of resources. Turtling is also a very good option whenever the other player is being very aggressive and taking high ground faster than you can take it back.
But it's too late now. I remember you and me, and how careless.
In this clip, you'll notice that I am effectively turtling here, and it simply is because the other player is very aggressive, and I know that I do not have an optimal loadout to fight this guy in the open. So I decided to hold my ground and wait for him to come to me. Now I'm baiting him. I'm making him think that I'm not going to fight back, and then when it's the right time, I pull out my LMG and I spray through the wall to shoot him. This is another strategy that you can use when turtling. You can actually shoot your own wall, shoot back at them. That person made a big mistake, and that problem was he was standing still. It made it incredibly easy for me to hit basically, what, 2 or 3 headshots on him and melt him. He had no time to react to that. He did not expect me to shoot back, and that is why turtling can be super effective in certain situations. Okay guys, that's really when you should use turtling, why you should use turtling, some tips on what to do when you're turtling, and basically just the method of turtling. Now I just want to reiterate, turtling should not be your go-to thing. There are some streamers that use turtling a lot, like CypherPK. He uses a form of turtling, but it's a very skilled form of turtling where he's editing and placing traps so that people fall into his box and he traps them and kills them. It's very skilled. You can do that if you can pull that off, you are allowed to turtle. But if you cannot do things like that, you shouldn't be using turtling in all your fights. Remember, like I said, turtling really comes down to who is the better aimer. And if you aren't necessarily the best aimer, you're still going to die. And people are going to laugh at you because they're like, oh, you didn't take high ground. And you still died because they came down to you, made themselves vulnerable, and they still killed you. You don't want to be put in that situation. If you have enough resources to take back high ground, you should try to take back high ground. If you have high ground, you have the better chance of winning. If you are a skilled and calm player, you can turtle effectively to win fights. Although it may look hectic because somebody is spraying your walls and it looks very grim for you, you have to remember that you do have the advantage because the other player is exposing themselves and people's reaction times aren't necessarily very quick, and you can take advantage of that by having them in very bad situations and being able to pump them in the face, LMG them in the face, AR spray them in the face, snipe them in the face. Literally, it's endless. But remember, don't stand still and always make it seem like you're not going to fight back. That is the most effective turtling strategy. Anyway guys, I really hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you found it helpful, and if you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more videos like these. But that is the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and this is Bizanix signing out.
Now